Hi everyone, this is Jim. I've been real busy this week with Thanksgiving, but I thought I would at least put out this short video to let you guys know what's going on. So yeah, I'm not doing my normal uploads on Friday, and in fact, yeah, Friday is already passed, and I probably won't do one on Monday either. But well, I will do this one quick video. And by the way, if you're in the U.S., hope you all had a safe and happy Thanksgiving. So for this video, I thought I played a Blitz game recently. It was short and kind of cute, so I thought I would just go over it. I started off with d4. My opponent played d5. I went c4, Queen's Gambit, and he played e6. So we have a normal Queen's Gambit declined, and I play the main move here, knight c3, and knight f6 is the main response. My opponent goes c6. This is an interesting way to play, just setting up the Semi-Slav triangle right away. The Slav defense, by the way, is just these three pawns coming out like this and leaving the e-pawn behind. And when the pawn also comes out to e6, so you have both c6 and e6. That's known as the Semi-Slav. And this can lead to a lot of interesting play. For example, if I were to, say, develop my knight to f3, he plays knight f6, and I go bishop out to g5, this could lead to the Cambridge Springs variation with queen to a5, and there's interesting tactics along the fourth row there. The sudden clearance of the fourth row with this pawn taking on c4 sometimes takes advantage of the loose bishop here on g5 there. So anyway, interesting stuff. But I just played e3 here. I'm just playing conservatively. This still leaves white with a decent opening advantage. I'm just protecting this pawn so I can take it back with one move if he takes immediately. He develops his knight. He delays taking there. I develop my knight. And he plays bishop to b4. This is a very rare move. If he were to play something like knight b to d7, this would be a very standard position and also very solid for black. That's one thing about this pawn triangle. It can be hard to break down, so black has a very solid setup here. Bishop b4 is an unusual move, though. Not necessarily terrible, but well, probably not the best either. I go bishop d3, and now he makes a definite, if somewhat minor, mistake. He goes ahead and takes, and we're just completely out of the opening book. Let's see, I take back, and well, I'll go ahead and give black one more move so we can give it a fair comparison. We can talk about why this is so much better for white. This is much more than the typical opening advantage. The advantages that white has here is that white has the bishop pair, and black has no compensating pawn damage, really. This pawn here, the doubled pawn here, is going to get undoubled pretty quickly because of the pawn tension in the center. I can undouble that at any time that I like. So there's not really any pawn damage to compensate for the loss of the bishop pair. And not only that, but I have open lines already on the b file here for my bishops and rooks. And if we compare the development is equal, with both sides having developed two pieces and not yet castled. But my development is a little better because I've got the minor pieces out, and it's not clear that the queen really belongs over there. But he does develop the queen with a forcing move. He's attacking this pawn, so I have to defend it. Queen c2, he takes, I take, and then he plays c5. And by now, the chess engine is starting to give like a +1 advantage to white. Once again, black is neglecting his development, so in addition to the things I pointed out earlier, white also has the advantage that he's better developed. I've got 3 pieces out to 2, and I'm going to castle on the next move, and he's opening up the center here with this pawn move before getting his king out of the center. So definitely reckless play from black here. Sometimes you can get away with this in Blitz, but well, we'll see what happens in this game. I went ahead and castled, and he decided to go ahead and exchange. And the reason why I castled was exactly to eliminate that pin on the c-pawn, so I could take back with the c-pawn here, and it gives me a very strong pawn formation. So I've got a very solid setup here with an extra pawn in the center. I have the bishop pair. So yeah, the chess engine is giving a +1 to +1.5 advantage to white already, even though the material is even, just based on those factors. But the next move that my opponent plays is a big blunder, and that really gives away the game. So he played the move b5, And this is your opportunity to, well, take a look at the situation, see if you can figure out what the best move is here for white. What are the tactics on the board, and what's the best move for white here? Okay, pause the video if you want some time to think about it. This is not too hard, so I think you can figure it out. So if you haven't got it yet, definitely pause the video and look for it. I'm going to give the answer away now. I played the move. Bishop takes b5 check, and that's definitely the best move here. And it's taking advantage of the fact that his bishop on the back rank is loose. And this is a nice tactic, and it's something to keep in mind, because often we'll catch your opponent unexpected. They don't expect to find loose pieces on their back rank, but it can happen, and it's exactly because black hasn't completed his development. He started on this adventure opening up the center without castling, for example. If he had just castled, then the rook here would be defending the bishop, or if he had bothered to develop the knight, then that rook would be defending the bishop. But as it is, the bishop is just loose. Oh, and the early queen deployment too, that also removes one of the defenders from the back rank. So that combination leaves a loose piece on the back rank, and whenever that's the case, just look for opportunities to exploit that, particularly if you've got this open C file. So here's another point to think about. Suppose you were black and you just wandered into this situation, playing a little too quickly in the opening, and now you have to try and salvage it. What are your options here for black? What are the playable moves here? Okay, pause the video if you want some time to think about that one. There's two playable moves. One of them is knight to d7. Basically, the idea is you move the knight so that the bishop is now defended, so that you're not losing a piece there, and you also have to deal with the check. So moving the knight solves both problems. And the best move here, actually, according to the chess engine, they're pretty comparable. That's why I'm showing both of them. But the chess engine prefers slightly this blocking with the bishop. And again, it's the same idea. You save the bishop by moving it away from where it can be taken, and you block the check at the same time. And there's a nice continuation here. White can continue with queen to c8 check. Still, the back rank is weak, and the bishop is not really guarding the c8 square because it's pinned. The king doesn't want to move and give up the rook in the corner, so the queen comes back to block. And after the exchange, just retreat the bishop back to e2. And the chess engine is giving white plus 2.5 advantage in this position, even though there's only one pawn difference. But white does have the bishop pair and a better development. It's going to be a while before this king gets to safety. So anyway, that's would be still the best chance for black. Instead, black continued to play quickly at a point when he really should have paused to think, and he just automatically took the bishop back. I don't know what he was thinking here. Maybe he thought I was just sacrificing a piece for some unclear compensation. But no, there's a very clear idea at this point. So if you want to see if you can calculate from here to the end of the game, this is a nice little calculation exercise, and not too deep. So why don't you see if you can figure that out? Okay, pause the video again if you want some time to think about it. I'm going to give away the rest of the game here. I played, naturally enough, queen takes c8 check. And, with the queen dragged away from that diagonal, the queen can't even block the check anymore. So the king has to move. There's no piece that can block the check. There's only one legal square, only one square that it can go to where it's not under attack. So only one legal move. And now, when I played this, actually, I originally intended just to take the rook in the corner, but I paused to think here because I was thinking, well, maybe my queen is out of play there, maybe you can get something going. Actually, not really, because my king is very safe and his queen is all alone without helpers, so even that is a pretty simple win. But there's an even faster win, and just a brief look around brought me to the move. Bishop to a3 check. Very nice move. I love this coordination between the queen and the bishop when they're on opposite colors. The queen is covering this light squared diagonal, the bishop is covering this dark squared diagonal, and the queen is blocking the escape of the king towards the back rank. So it's caught in a box and it can't get out, and the only piece that can block is the queen, and after the queen moves, bishop takes queen is mate. So it was a mate in 3 from that point after queen takes bishop there. So a nice finish to that game. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will be back soon with more videos. See you then. Bye.